evening, my fellow vampire lovers. The sun is going down, and you know what that means. It's time for me to record another episode of my podcast, The Beautiful Dead. The problem is, while I was sleeping, somebody reached their arm into my lair, scratched themselves, left their blood behind. So when I rose, I followed the smell of that blood, and guess who I found?
It was me. I was looking for subspecies.
Yes.
But I didn't find any in your lair or the later entries of that film
power.
series.
Yeah, I don't have that power. And so as a punishment, he had to watch the Vampire Journals and talk about it with me.
Yes, for the episode, we did an episode on my channel.
Correct.
What is the worst subspecies movie? And we learned that there was a spinoff. And we've since learned that there's two other ones.
We just learned this.
We
So
just
guess
learned
what we'll be doing tonight?
Yes. But yeah, we decided let's watch this one specifically ties into 4.
Yes.
So that's why we decided to single this one out.
Correct.
Yes.
So we think that they thought they were going to start a whole new branch of the tree and get a whole bunch of stories out of this, but that, as of now, has not happened.
No.
But if you're watching my channel, you watch me talk about 1, 2, and 3, and now you're watching this because continuity-wise, we think this is where it falls. Question mark?
Look, release order-wise, this is where it falls. And 4 uses footage of this in its intro. So,
yes. So if you haven't yet, go to Tony's channel and watch us talk about what's the worst subspecies. And when you hear us ramble on, me doing each video hopefully will help you understand what we're talking about, because only people as cool as us who have the t-shirts, who have the playing cards from the 90s,
of course,
know the movies as well as we do.
Yes, we're all in on it.
We just wanted to share them with you guys. So we're going to talk about the Vampire Journals.
Ooh. Not Chronicles.
Not Chronicles, not Diaries. Although Diaries also has this stuff on. Okay, all right. So this came from the writer of Subspecies, Ted Nicolau, and Band.
Charles Band, yes.
Charles Band says, well, since we've already created this vampire world, and since Strike While the Iron's Hot, Interview with the Vampire, do we want to do a movie with more elegant vampires in the same world?
And more like tortured vampires.
Brooding.
Which, this is post-Dracula, post-interview, post-Forever Night.
Oh, Forever Night. I've done that one. Go watch it.
You know, it's funny. On my channel, we recently did Cube, and I mentioned that like every actor in Cube had acted in Forever Night, and someone
everyone crickets.
And no, but everyone told me that Cube 2 stars the star Forever Night.
Really?
Yeah.
I did that on my show.
Yeah.
Have you seen the whole thing?
When I was watching reruns.
1 and 2 are fire.
Okay.
3, season 3. That's all I'm going to say.
I had to check it out. But yeah. So tortured vampires were the thing.
Beautiful, sensual, will fall in love. Like vampires that are just looking for the right person to come and fix their broken heart.
Yeah, and this is peak I Can Fix Him film era. You got your Beauty and the Beast, your Edward Scissorhands. Like, correct. I can fix him.
I can fix him.
Oh, my God.
I can fix him. Anywho, so let's talk about Vampire Journals. We open on a beautiful woman in a white flowing gown. We talked about this in ours. Of course. White gowns.
You need white gowns.
I need a white gown.
Because Dracula.
I want to tell you one of my dreams, and I'm going to do it someday before I move, because once I move to New Orleans, they're not going to bat an eye. Yeah. But up in Pittsburgh, one day when it's foggy, I just want to walk down my street with a candelabra through the fog in a white gown. Wouldn't that be awesome?
That would be great.
Say I've done it.
I mean, probably be weird if I did it, but you should do it. You should definitely do it.
So
I'm going to walk around with big fingertips going,
you can just walk like a couple feet behind me, like
making shadows. Like, who the hell's that guy?
Do you think anyone would try and save me?
Or I'm going to be like a guy in this movie, just narrate my life story as I walk around.
Right. Because of course. And if you go to my channel, we just did Embrace of the Vampire with Alyssa Milano, which is another vampire in a journal, reading his journal out loud. Yeah. Okay. So we open on this beautiful woman. She's in a white flowing gown, and she's happily spinning through a ballroom, and dreamy music is playing. And she looks up, and in the balcony is this hideous vampire who's watching her and smiling.
That's not Ash, right?
No. Radu.
I think that's the doctor who played Dr. Blood in part 4. I think he's in this movie.
I'm going to let you know if that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
I looked it up. I think I remember seeing his name was in this movie. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I think that guy might be him.
Wait, was he the very flamboyant one?
I'm not sure.
Okay, we'll get there.
Yeah.
I'll put a little thing in here about which one it is.
Yes.
Tell me something. Does Radu have the bloodstone?
I did not.
Sorry, I derailed you.
That.
I think I
did not
remember
catch
seeing
that.
he was in the cast here.
So, she tries to run and get to the door, and we see sunlight underneath. But this hideous vampire gets behind her in true subspecies fashion.
Yeah.
Rips open her dress so we get to see her boobie.
You have to.
2 minutes in.
You have to. It doesn't feel scary.
And then bites her throat.
Yeah.
And while he's feeding, Zachary, long hair, handsome, tortured vampire, stands up, chops off his head, but it's too late. He's killed the girl.
Ugh.
Yes.
With the sword of Laertes.
With the sword of Laertes. Zachary wakes in his coffin and we see he's having a nightmare. So we know that vampires have dreams in this world, which doesn't happen often. His voiceover, does he voice over? Interview with the vampire.
He took there and I tried to stop him.
Yeah. He said, that's the night I lost Rebecca. Not Michelle's sister Rebecca.
Yes.
Just another Rebecca.
Different Rebecca.
And since that time, he has spent all this time traveling and killing every vampire he could get his hands on.
Yeah.
And now he's back in Romania, in Bucharest.
Of course.
Searching for
All
a vampire.
roads lead to Bucharest.
Yes. Searching for a vampire who's named
Ash.
What's his whole name?
Oh, God. I forgot already.
Ash the Music Lover.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant because he has a full name in 5. Ash the Music Lover.
That the whole every time.
Ash the Music Lover.
Branding. It's fine. Ash the Music Lover. So now we cut to a girl playing.
Do they do that? Sorry, do they do that with every vampire? Because we know how much they like to rip off shirts. How many vampires are like the boob guy? Jim, the boob guy. He just loves them.
Jim.
He loves
vampire
them
named Jim.
so much. Hi, I'm Eric, the other boob guy.
How many guys don't like boobs though? I don't feel like that's an identifier.
I'm sure there's some gay vampires out there.
But even the gay men I know are like, boobs are pretty. They're nice.
That's Clarence, the boob admirer. He doesn't like them so much, but
the boob admirer.
He understands their appeal, even though it's not for him.
Not to criticize, but as the vampire romance author, Jim and Clarence, not the best vampire.
You got to think outside the box, lady.
I'm just saying.
Unless
we're in Appalachia.
The next book, I want Jim and Clarence.
You got it, buddy.
Vampire.
Do you know I put you in the next book?
Oh, man. Do I make it out?
I'm not going to say anything. You got to read my books.
This is the second book I've been put into.
So when Alex comes out, Tony is written into it.
I was in someone's comic recently as a bellhop in an elevator. I don't think I'm making it out of that one. Right. But anyway.
So now we cut to a girl playing a piano. This is Sophie.
Yes.
Sophie is playing the piano, and we shoot down from below the stage, and under the stage, someone is listening. A man is listening. It's very Phantom of the Opera.
Yes.
That's another one of those, I can save him. Yes.
This is trying to be
romance.
very romantic.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Ash explains to us that other vampires are comprised of different bloodlines, which we've seen this in so many vampire things. Some look monstrous, some look beautiful. And he goes to the theater to hear Sophie. I'm sorry, Ash doesn't explain this. Zachary does.
Yeah.
And he goes to listen to Sophie play the piano, and while he's there, he looks up and Ash is watching her.
The music lover?
Ash, the music lover.
Okay.
So we find out that Ash is a master vampire. So we know in this world there are master vampires and
fledglings.
Fledglings. Drink every time you hear fledgling.
No, don't do that. No, absolutely do not do that.
Do not do that.
Do not do that. You're going to have a bad time.
Now, if I ever write it in a book, I'm going to be like, oh, I hate that word now. So we learn that he's a master vampire. So his powers have grown over the centuries. So we learn that in this bloodline of vampires, unless you have a witch for a mother who teaches you everything.
Yes.
Over time, your powers get stronger and stronger and stronger until you are a master. And again, classic vampire stuff.
Yes.
And one of his powers is mind control. And not only can he mind control, but he can mind control other vampires, which you don't see too often.
Yeah.
So he's able to mind control Zachary to look away from him.
You know who could have used that power? Radu.
Yeah.
Probably would have gotten him out of a jam once or twice.
Many times.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
He never thought to use that power.
I know.
On anyone.
Which is interesting, because if Ash has it, why doesn't Radu? Because Radu is his maker.
I think Radu in 5 was teaching them how to do it when they hypnotized the couple. And I guess he just forgot he could do it. I don't know.
Maybe.
Can you
Or
not
he
do it? Can you not do it to?
Michelle.
Can you not do it to other master vampires? Is
I
that
don't
it?
know.
Anyway.
Maybe. Yeah. So the concert lets out, and Ash approaches Sophia, and he gives her a rose, and she cuts her finger on the thorn, which
course.
is another one of my favorite vampire tropes. The human cuts their finger or something, and the vampire reacts to the blood. Ash brings the blood to his lips and then gives her his card while Zachary is watching this exchange from just about 10 feet away. We could see him.
Lena.
Yeah.
Theoretically, you're out there.
Yes.
You cut your finger. A strange man licks it. Are you just gonna be like, "Oh, okay," and then walk
I would
away?
be like, "Are you a vampire? And can you?"
You know what? I asked the wrong person.
Correct.
I asked the wrong person. I don't know
Tony.
why I expected anything different. Never mind.
Tony.
Forget I asked. Forget I asked.
I'd be like, "It's happening." So she's walking home that night. Ash is following. Zachary is explaining to us that the master is only invulnerable to attack when he is focused, when he's full of bloodlust and he's focused on his prey. So that's his moment to strike. Zachary tries to kill Ash while he's focused on Sophia, but he fails. And we see that Ash can shadow fly.
Yes.
So he got that from Radu. Zachary chooses to save Sophia instead of using her as bait to get to Ash. He's a good dude.
All right, you're safe now. In the last moment, I chose her life over the life of Ash. It was a moment of weakness I shall forever regret.
He's a stand-up guy.
Yes. She thanks him, and then he's like, "Did that guy give you a card?" And she goes, "Yeah, it's this club." And he's like, "Oh, okay." And it's called Club Muse. And then he says, "Let me walk you
Because he's
home."
always looking for his muse. We know that now because we watched the prequel.
I just put that together.
Why did so much of this movie end up in that prequel? Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
Because they made a list. And they said, we have to hit all of these points. And then they shook each other's hands and they're like, we did it.
And no one ever thought to say,
Yes.
"Hey, did we put subspecies on the
You're
list?
so smart, Tony. I did not put that together.
Did
All
we
right.
did we make sure to write in a scene with subspecies on the list? No, we got to do shadow puppets."
Where do we want the money
Anyway.
to go? So that we're going to have a vampire pause here. So we know the vampires are pale. They have a sharp cane on each side, one
Yep.
on each side. That's always present. They sleep in coffins. Some are masters. Some can mesmerize. And some can use their powers on other vampires. And some can shadow fly.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're at Ash's business. And he talks to a woman named Iris, who's the club manager, and she's human. And this is a vampire crossover. So she was in a movie. Oh, no. Now I'm going to blank out on it.
Oh no.
Where she was a stripper. I'm sorry. Exotic dancer.
You could say stripper.
And a vampire fell in love with her. And he was in love with her. Or no, he was drawn to her because she was planning that night.
Oh.
And she spends one night with this vampire. And they fall in love, blah, blah,
Of course.
blah, blah.
Of course.
And that movie, I'm going to kick myself when I see it. I should have written it down, but I thought I would remember it. Her name is Star. And one of the other movies she was in is called Dance of the Damned, which I have covered.
Oh.
Go check it out.
Dance of the Damned.
Dance of the Damned.
Okay.
Surprised you haven't heard about it.
You know, I missed that one.
Yeah.
I missed that one.
So we have a-
You watch more vampire movies than me, Lena.
it's
I watch vampire stuff,
my
not as much
thing.
as you.
Yes. So while she's kind of talking to him about, we have this politician here. He's, I guess, a regular guy, and she's just telling him all the stuff that's happening in the club.
Yeah.
A female vampire named Cassandra comes out, and she says, "How was the concert, master?" And he kind of blows her off.
Yeah.
Iris tells Ash that Anton wants to talk to him because Anton knows that Ash is displeased with him.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Zachary is walking Sophia home and explains he travels the world on a personal quest. It's a nice way to say it. Mm-hmm. She's American. She's in Romania to play with the symphony, and she thanks him for walking her home, invites him to stop by any time.
Oh.
And he just says,
You must be careful here. Don't walk alone at night. Lock your doors and windows. Please.
Please don't walk alone at night by yourself. Please lock your doors, lock your windows. And she's like,
I lived in New York. I could take care of myself.
I'm from New York.
Okay, quick question.
Yes.
So this is modern times, 90s?
Sure. Yes.
Why are the vampires dressing like they're from the Victorian age?
Because it's sexy.
Yeah, but Stefan didn't do that. He had a long coat, but it didn't look
He
like
was hiding it better.
it didn't look like a Victorian era coat.
But he wasn't elegant, which is what they were going for.
Be elegant and still be in the
Elegant.
modern times. It's just weird that Ash and what's his face are walking around looking like they're in the 1800s.
But also, how easy is it to go buy new clothes when you can only be out when the sun is down?
You can order clothes.
I guess.
You can get clothes at night. You can steal them.
They didn't have Amazon yet.
You can steal clothes.
Steal clothes.
Why wouldn't they steal?
Be like, give me your
at
clothes.
first, at first, I thought this took place like in the past. And then she shows up. I'm like, oh, this is modern times. It really threw me off. Again, they got
They're
lucky.
dressed like that because that's what sells.
Yeah. And again, they got really lucky filming in Romania with like the old looking buildings. Like, not a lot of we have to do.
I
It's
know,
already
that's
there.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like they just needed to cast a bunch of pretty people who could look mysterious.
Yeah.
The setting was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at the club, Ash is telling Anton, I'm disappointed with you.
You disappoint me, Anton.
Why, Ash? What have I done?
We struck a bargain, you and I. Immortality and sanctuary in exchange for half your worldly goods.
Because the deal was, if I make you a vampire, you give me half of your wealth.
Yeah.
And you've been hiding money from me and assets from me. And Anton is like, please, that's for my children. And Ash is like, I'll kill your children.
He's like, I don't care.
I'll kill your children.
You're my fledgling. I don't care about
You're
your
my
children.
fledgling. You have 2 days to fix it.
Yeah.
Cassandra sneaks up on Ash and she's very proud that she's able to sneak up on a master.
I surprised you, Master.
Yeah.
And that pisses him off.
No, he doesn't like that.
No. And she's like, let me satisfy you tonight. And he's like, yeah, no.
Yeah. He's like, no, you're now a threat to me.
Yeah.
And I don't care for you
And
much.
also, I think he's just bored with her. She's very needy, very clingy. He's already moved on to the piano player.
Yeah, this I've needy and clingy. I've had experience. It gets old. Gets old pretty quickly, you know?
Radu.
Yeah, Radu runs into it a lot.
Radu's so
I meant more for my personal life.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're like, oh, like Radu? And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I was trying for personal stuff, but okay.
Yeah. I've had the same experience.
Yeah.
Like way too intense, way too fast.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So she's like, let me lie with you tonight. And he's like, no. Why don't you go to bed?
Why don't you go hang out with a friend? That's a line that I've used in the past. I'm like, we want to hang out with like a friend.
We need to do separate things. Iris interrupts Ash saying that one of their wealthiest clients accidentally killed one of the girls of the night.
It happens.
It happens.
It happens.
Ash shows up. She is dead in the bed. The general is freaking out. He's like,
I'm not here to enforce the law. I'm here to serve you.
don't worry about it, General. You're my client,
Yeah.
not her.
This reminds me of Godfather 2, where they kill the
Yeah.
prostitute to state
Yeah.
to set up the senator. He's like, what are we
Yeah.
going to do? He's like, we got it. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
And he's like, go get a drink. We'll clean
Yeah.
all this up, pretend it didn't even happen. And he tells Cassandra and a vampire named Dimitri to get rid of the body. And Dimitri is the one who's like very flamboyant.
Yeah.
And I feel like that might be the doctor, but I'm going to look it up.
You know what? I'm going to look it up right now.
Would you?
Because it's going to bother me.
Yeah. And we also find out that Cassandra is psychotic. She's like smiling at the dead girl. And like, I thought she was going to lean over and like sniff her or something. She is very crazy.
All right, I'm looking it up. Hold on. Just making sure it's the right actor. I've got 4 up here. What was his name? It was Dr.
Niculescu?
Okay. Mihai
Yep,
Dinvale.
that's him. Dimitri.
He is Dimitri in
Yeah.
this. Got it.
Same thing. Very overacting. Very. But I actually preferred Dimitri over Dr. Blood.
Yeah.
Dimitri was just very. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
staring constantly. Like, ah.
Yeah. As soon as you said, I think he was in this one, I was
Yeah.
like, I think that's who it
Yeah,
was.
I just couldn't remember which one it was.
Which explains why eventually Ash was like, why don't you go to a hospital somewhere? So Ash goes to see this woman who's a psychic or a witch or a fortune teller or something. And she says, the wanderer you prophesized is here, and he has the blade of Leiades. And she's basically like, you got this. You're going to prevail. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Then Ash goes to his room where two hot girls are waiting to service him.
of course.
Dresses down.
Obviously, how will I know they're women if their boobs aren't
Correct.
being shown,
Correct.
Lena? I
and
would
this
be.
also explains why he looks at Cassandra and goes, thanks, no thanks.
Yeah, he's got a type, doesn't he?
Yeah. The next day, Sophia is coming out of her room or her apartment or whatever, and Iris pulls up in a nice car and she says, my employer, Ash, wants to apologize for scaring you last night. He just wanted to make sure that you made it home safe, and he'd like to engage you in a private recital at Club Muse. It pays $1,000.
And I'd be like, the guy who bit me and then sucked my blood and then it looked like he was going to kill me? Yeah, I'll go. I'll play some music for him.
Yeah, exactly. $1,000 though in 1997 or whatever it was,
It's not bad.
especially in Romania.
Yeah. I mean, if the previous event did not happen, then I'd be more on board for it. But I'm like, I don't know. That kind of
Meanwhile, I'm like, I'm definitely getting turned into a vampire tonight. It's happening. So Iris says a car will come at sundown and pick you up and take you to the club. We see Ash awake, and we learn that the vampires decay during the day
yes, which
and then come back.
was something they wanted to do in the first Subspecies movie, and they thought the effect looked bad.
Yeah.
I don't think it looks great. It's a little confusing. Not really consistent either, but what are you going to do? No.
I don't know. It's one of the things I look for is like the what happens when they sleep, because
Yeah.
I've read books where they like die they die every night and then come to every day.
Yes.
I've read some where like they can awake. It's just like regular sleeping. So it just depends on the vampire. Zachary goes to see Sophia and finds out that she's headed to Club Muse for a private engagement hired by Ash. And she's very excited for the money. But Zachary is like, please come with me. And the car pulls up and she's like,
I like you, but you're not my boyfriend or anything, so don't get bossy, okay?
Zach, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
You're not my boyfriend.
Yeah. You're not my boyfriend, Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She literally pulls that
Yeah.
line out of him. He's like, no, I'm just.
She's like, I like you, but you're not my boyfriend.
He should be like, you should just be honest. Be like, I've seen that guy kill
you
people.
don't know him. You don't know any of these people. Yeah. But she gets in the car and she leaves. He shadow flies after the car, following them to Club Muse. So now he knows where the lair is. Inside, she's led to an empty room with chairs and told to start playing, even though there's no audience. So she sits down, she starts to play, and then she looks up and all the vampires are just there.
Yeah.
So they can move quickly and quietly. And she pauses and they're like, please keep playing. And she's like, okay.
Okay. Sure.
You know, she's a little freaked out, but she wants that paycheck.
Yeah.
So Cassandra sees how Ash is looking at her and she does not like it. Zachary's outside
She's
waiting.
jealous. Vampires get jealous.
Yes. Zachary's outside waiting. He finally goes to the front gate and mesmerizes the guards to let him in, but Iris stops him right in the doorway and is like, no. And his powers don't work on her. So
No.
she's some kind of special human. 'Cause
Yeah.
she's like, don't even try it.
Maybe it's like Star Wars. If you're aware of the Jedi mind
Yeah.
trick, you're able to like.
Yeah.
You're like, I know, because we see that in like Star Wars, like when they do it on Jabba, and he's like, no, don't. I'm
Yeah.
aware of this. It's not going to work on me. I think it's that. If you're aware of it, you know to look out for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. As Sophia plays, Ash shows up behind her, bites her neck. The vampires applaud, and he throws her over his shoulders.
And just run. I thought it
just
was
runs.
so funny. Not like turning into a shadow or just this. We have to see him running like, Well, it looks like a dummy too.
He looks insane.
He looks like a caveman, like bonk her on the head and like drag her
He
away.
does. He looks absolutely insane. That was so unsettling.
Really was.
Yeah, insane. Zachary waits outside till dawn, and he's like, she's done for because she never came back out.
Yeah.
So he retreats. We see him feed on a sleeping girl, and his voiceover lets us know that he's ashamed of being a vampire.
And is this where he like gets a little bit of the Radu makeup, like when he
Maybe?
at some point? I feel like both of them, Well, the guy in the beginning, definitely.
Yeah.
But I feel like some of them get like the evil vampire makeup when they're going full vamp mode and then they like turn it
I'll
off.
have to go back and watch.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if I'm misremembering it, but see
I'll
if
have to go back
there's
and
like
watch.
different, because there's definitely the teeth, but I think they add
So that makes
different
me
makeup.
think the vampire from the beginning is from whatever bloodline Radu is from. But Radu makes Ash, and Ash is beautiful.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
whatever. Anywho, so we see that she starts to wake up, and he's able to like mesmerize her back to sleep
Yeah.
and then slip out.
And he apologizes.
Yeah.
He's like, sorry, I just
I
needed
know.
a little bit.
He said he only drinks enough to live, and we find out that he killed his maker, and he is on a mission to kill all the vampires of that bloodline.
Yeah.
And we find out that his maker is named Serena.
Mm-hmm.
And we see Serena in Subspecies 4. So you said maybe it's a different girl named Serena.
It'd be multiple
Like,
Serenas.
all right, whatever.
Well, look, we know of at least 2 Radus. Radu the Handsome and Radu Vladislas.
One real, one not.
Yeah. So
Yeah, exactly. So we're like,
I'm sure there was a
okay.
lot of Vlads.
Yeah, exactly. So the next night, Sophia awakes in the bed next to a decayed Ash.
Yeah. That was cool.
He awakens, returns to his vampire state in front of her, and she's freaked out. And she's pale, so she's already lost some blood.
Yeah.
She begs him, please let me go. And he's like, well, I've already started initiating you. And he says, I will give you eternal life in exchange for your music forever, which is what Radu did to him.
But he should know that she'll lose the ability to play music.
I don't think he cares.
Or maybe that wasn't an idea yet because they didn't write the prequel yet.
I don't know.
But yeah.
Maybe he's the only one that suffers from music impotency whenever he becomes a vampire.
Possibly.
Like maybe all the other ones, like something's broken in him.
Yeah.
Maybe he was never a good player to begin with.
Yeah, nothing really stood out about his performance when we heard it.
Ding, 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 ding. I mean, like his
How hard
sister-
could it
Yeah,
be?
exactly.
Ding, 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 ding. ding.
Yeah. So, in true Radu fashion, he says, submit to me or I will make your life a living hell.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's how you win them. That's perfect.
Oh, is that how?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me pull up this.
I don't know
dating
how
app.
that didn't charm her.
Hold on, I matched with the girl. Submit to me, or I'll make your.
Wait, we got to write these. Some of the lines from Radu are intense. He's like, kneel to me, tell me I'm your master.
Yeah.
Dude. Wow, that's intense. But he basically says, like, submit to me, let me be your master, or I'm going to torment you. And then he drinks from her again.
Yeah.
He locks her in the room and runs into Cassandra in the hall. And she's like, please take me out to hunt. And he says it's too dangerous, but she really, really wants to hunt. Then Dimitri comes out of his room and he's like, Master, can I talk to you? And Ash's like, not now.
He's like, leave
Then
me alone.
Iris shows up and tells Cassandra, Vominos,
You're becoming reckless, Ash. You're jeopardizing everything. You bring your brain through the labyrinth, not through the front door of my nightclub.
Iris chastises Ash for kidnapping a woman who was clearly seen walking into the club that will be
Yeah.
cared about.
This is like the henchman who's like
Yeah.
really smart that the bad guy should listen to. He's like, hey,
Yeah.
no, we're like busy right
Yeah.
now. Could you not do this?
Like when Radu's mom is like, she's going to be the death of you.
yeah.
He didn't listen. So
They
she's
never
like,
listen.
this woman is an American who's working with the symphony, clearly seen walking through our front door, and now you've kidnapped her.
Yeah.
And he basically says, I am the master, and you do what I say.
And she's like, well, what you said is really fucked up. All right.
And then he says, go eavesdrop on the meeting between Anton and his attorney and tell me what the plan is. And then Ash does take Cassandra out to hunt. She attacks a young man, and as she's drinking, a car drives by. Nobody sees anything?
No.
Okay, all right.
If
Ash-
it was me in the car, I'd be like, nah, didn't see
She's like, the guy's holding onto the gate. She's feeding from
Yeah.
him. Ash is standing there, and a car just drives by.
it. Yeah. They probably see it a lot. Maybe they thought they were banging. How often do you pay attention to what's going on
Right,
outside?
exactly. And then he basically says, like, please don't kill in a public thoroughfare. This is why I don't take you out. Sophia's locked in a room. She looks extremely pale, and she finds a golden dagger and holds on to it.
Yes.
Outside, Ash is watching. Cassandra and Ash confront. Oh, I'm sorry. Zachary is watching. Cassandra and Ash confront him and say, enter the club at midnight and we will let you see her. Anton is whispering to his attorney, and Ash approaches as they're discussing this plan to hide a package somewhere.
Yeah.
If Ash heard it, we don't know yet. He walks around, tries to kind of rein in his people.
Dimitri, take your friend downstairs. And Alexander, remove your head from the bar and put on some evening clothes.
So this is where I'm going to just a little side note. His people suck.
Yeah.
Okay. Cassandra's crazy. She's needy. She's whiny. Dimitri is like such a disaster. He is such a disaster.
He didn't surround himself with the best.
No, he's such a disaster. And he's always telling Iris to get him more incense. And Iris is very headstrong, but I understand what she's trying to do. And then he's got Anton, who's hiding money from him. And I'm like, Ash, you really don't know how to pick him.
Well, give him a break. His dad was Radu. His vampire dad was Radu.
But he's a master. He's been alive a long time. And like, you have picked some of the worst vampires. Just terrible.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a single good person on his team.
They're all terrible.
Awful.
They're all
The
awful.
whole movie is just them coming at him all the time.
You don't even know how he even has like a person in the next one. Well, he only has that one in the next one.
You just have Serena,
just like,
who we don't meet in this one.
Yeah.
So
He fired his staff.
yeah. So Ash goes down and we see him walking through his club. And he's telling Dimitri, like, take your boy toy back to your room. And then he picks up one and he's like, please go get dressed. Stop getting drunk.
Yeah.
It's like just a disaster.
Yeah.
Zachary comes into the club and he is absolutely disgusted that there's like these vampires just mingling with humans. He does not like it.
He's not a fan.
Yeah. But he knows there's no way he can kill all of them. So he has to try and figure out what his best strategy is for the night. In Ash's office, Ash asks Zachary, why are you in the city and why are you stalking me? And Zachary tells him, release Sophia and I will leave you in peace. But his witch/fortune teller says, no, you smell of death. You're the one that's been killing his bloodline.
Yes. And then he magically pulls a giant broadsword from behind his back.
From his t-shirt.
With a handle that's so big they can't even fit their hand around it. They're like, ah.
And this is the sword of ladies.
Yeah.
This is the blade of Laertes, a vampire slayer. These symbols endowed with magical powers. It was mine once. It was stolen from me 700 years ago.
Or Laertes, right?
Laertes.
Yeah.
And so Ash is able to use like telekinesis to pull it to him. And we find out that sword was stolen from him 600 years prior.
Yeah.
And he's like, thanks for bringing it back.
Yeah. I've been looking for that.
It once belonged to a vampire hunter. Oh, I'm sorry. It was stolen from Ash 700 years ago. Zach says, give me the girl. You can keep the blade. And Ash is like, I don't have to do either because the witch told me that I'm going to win no matter what. Great. Zachary admits that he is actually from Ash's bloodline, but won't reveal who his master was before Zachary killed the master.
Yeah.
Ash says, stay the night with me, feed with me, and I will let you see Sophia.
Wait, couldn't Ash just like process of elimination be like, well, which one of my fledglings are dead?
Exactly.
Like, I haven't heard from that lady in a while.
But also, we've seen he does not keep very good track of his people.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, never
And apparently, he's thrown out vampirism all willy-nilly.
Yeah, he's really fucking up.
Yeah.
Again, his teacher was Radu, so.
Again, yeah. And this is when we learn that Ash was made by
Radu of Transylvania.
Radu Vladislas, and that the building they're in was given to him by Radu. Then Ash takes Zachary to a room where there's a girl waiting to be his willing victim for the night, and then he leaves Zach to enjoy his dinner.
Yeah.
Cassandra wants to know who Zachary is, and Ash tells her that that's Ash's plaything, and she better leave him alone. The girl in the room pulls down her dress
Of course.
in true subspecies fashion
Yeah.
and tells Zachary, drink whatever you want, but please spare my life. Zachary is like, run from me! But then she backs up, and then he overcomes, and he bites her anyways.
Yeah.
So he starts feeding.
He needed to see the boobs to see how much blood she
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
That's how that works, right?
Yeah.
I
Sure.
I know anatomy and biology.
So your thought process is the bigger the boobs, more blood inside?
Yes. And pee is stored in the balls. These are all facts that we know. Lena. I'm shocked you don't know.
I don't know how I missed that. Something I think all the time when I'm watching a movie where the vampire bites from the boob, I'm like, there is not a lot of blood in there.
Yeah.
It's like just fat and muscle.
Yeah.
Why? Because they think it looks sexy.
I don't know. Is there blood in milk? I don't know. Can they also drink milk? I don't know. If the milk comes from a human, are they allowed to drink it?
Don't drink from the boob. Go right for the neck. Go for the thigh. But the boob may feel sexy in the moment. You're not really getting anything.
Yeah.
It's not very vascularized.
You should teach them that.
I do all the time on my channel.
You would be like the girl with Ash. Be like, no, master, stop drinking from there. You're all skin and bones. You keep drinking from the wrong place.
But, yeah. Unless you're just trying to mark your territory so people can see the bite, but you're not getting a lot of blood out of there. No. All right. So Ash goes back to Sophie, who threatens to stab the vampire, but she can't do it because I think at this point in time she is very weak.
Yeah.
And she begs him not to hurt her and yells that her friends are going to find her, but he does not care. And he tells her again, accept my offer. And then he feeds on her again.
Yeah.
She cannot have much blood left in her. Iris knocks on the door, so Ash comes out. And she tells him that Anton and the attorney are plotting to leave the country. He says, get them both and tell them to meet me. Ash confronts Anton, who tries to lie, which pisses Ash off even more.
Yep.
Iris arrives with the attorney, who also lies. So Ash stabs the lawyer and tells Anton to feed from him. Anton's like, please, master, he's my best friend. So finally he does it out of fear. And Ash says, you're a coward. And then he chops his head off.
You got to take care of these people. He's finally showing initiative and taking care of these people.
The head is still talking as he's lifting it up.
With no air.
Putting it in the fire.
How do they talk without air in
Correct.
their lungs?
I know.
Doesn't make any sense.
I know, it does.
That's the one thing that doesn't make sense.
Vampire magic. So now Iris is very pissed because she's like, you are ruining my nightclub. We're going to lose everything.
Yeah.
And he says, figure it out.
Yeah.
She starts to run her mouth, so he uses his power to like strangle her. And then
he does the Darth Vader choke.
And then he flies out of the room. Cassandra shows up, tells Iris she is displeasing Ash, and then drops down to feed from the lawyer. So Iris is disgusted and says, Cassandra, you know, he's bored with you.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the writing on the wall, he wants Sophie now. He's been with you for 100 or 200 years.
Yeah.
Like, you're old news.
You're old news.
Right. Cassandra's like, well, you're actually going to get old and you're actually going to die. So they're having some kind of bitch off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's probably like, yeah, I'm aware of that. You're not aware of your situation.
Yeah,
I've made
exactly.
peace with mine.
In the room, Zachary is like feeding off the girl and he's like beating himself up about it. And we get this flashback that 100 years prior, Zachary was a poet. Rebecca was the girl that he loved. Everything was perfect, but a vampire named Serena set her sights on him, seduced him, and then turned him. Yes. So that was our flashback.
Okay.
Ash is approached by Cassandra, who asks to go out hunting alone, which Ash does not think she's ready for. And again, she's like, please lay with me tonight. And he's like, no.
He's like, no, I'm over you. Get out.
Right. Dimitri comes out of his room and he's like, Ash, I killed my lover. Ash is like, go help Iris clean up Anton and the lawyer and then throw your boy in the pit.
Yeah. I love they have a pit.
Yeah.
Throw him in the pit.
Must be Tuesday.
Yeah.
Ash wakes up Sophia and says Zachary is there. And she's like, Zachary? So then he's like, you have to look more presentable. And he like unzips her dress. And then when she comes out, she's in a new dress.
Yeah.
And he walks her to the room, opens the door, and she sees Zachary feeding on the girl.
Sophia!
So now
Makes him
she
look
knows.
bad. Makes him look bad. He was only doing it to live. He wasn't going to kill her.
So now she knows Zachary's a vampire.
I can't count how many times
Yeah.
someone who I thought was my bro brought a girl I was seeing and I was sucking the blood of someone. It happens. It's I've been in that position before. It's not fun.
It's low. It's dirty. It's a dirty trick.
It is.
She screams. Ash pulls her back out and then says to Zachary, I honored my obligation to you. Because all he said was, I'll let you see her.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
He locks Zach in and pulls the crying Sophia back into Ash's bedroom. Zach explains that the reason he can't get out of the room is because for a shadow to fly, there needs to be a crack that light can get through, and all of these rooms are light tight.
Yeah.
So shadows can't pass. So that was a good explanation.
Because he mentions,
That
Because
was
the whole time we're like, why doesn't he just shadow in
Yeah.
there? I'm glad they thought about it.
Yeah, there has to be a crack that's enough for light to get through. Yeah. Iris and Dimitri are burning the corpses when Ash shows up and tells Dimitri, get out. Ash gives the key to Zach's room to Iris and says, take his sleeping body out to the courtyard in the day and let him burn. And she's like, fine, but you have to kill Sophia too. Ash says, Sophia is more precious to me than you.
Oof. Buddy, don't say that. What if it doesn't work out with her? You got to have someone to fall back on.
Well, and that's your business person.
Yeah.
Like, you don't mix business and pleasure.
Yeah.
And he's like screwing over his business partner.
To be honest, he is like a vampire.
Yeah.
He's just like, the business fell apart. I'll just go over there and be a vampire over there now.
I'd be afraid of ruining my master's business because Radu's going to be like, what did you do?
We don't know what the hell Radu is doing at this point.
Who knows?
We don't know.
I know what he's doing. He's chasing freaking Michelle.
Maybe not at this point. We don't know what time
We
this
don't
thing
know
was.
the continuity.
That's true.
It
That's
doesn't
true.
make sense.
At this point, his head could be on a spike. We don't know. Or this is pre-Subspecies, and Radu is doing whatever he did in the 200 years between
The
Subspecies 5
mistake
and
they
1.
made was with that sword.
Yeah.
Because when he shows up in 4, Ash has the sword
Yeah.
and says it was stolen from me.
What maybe there's 2 swords.
There's 2 extremely rare vampire killing swords called the Sword of Ladies.
Yeah, maybe they made an extra.
Found it on eBay.
Yeah. Why not?
Everyone tell me if you have a Sword of Ladies and then we'll count them up.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm sure there's a bunch.
Anywho, so he's like, she means more to me than you. And she looks at him and says, you're pathetic. And if you don't kill her, she's going to be your ruin. Sounds like Radu and his mom.
This girl should go into business with Mummy. They would do well together.
They could sit around and talk about like what whiny bitches their boys are.
Yeah. That's the fan film. It's the fan film. Cersei.
It's like Single Wives Clubs,
What was it?
but with Iris, Circe, and
Wait.
Michelle.
Wait. Subspecies Wives Club.
Quick, write it down. Don't steal that idea, anyone watching this video.
Ted Nicolau.
You don't own me.
We'll write it. We'll write it for very cheap. Ted, we want to do
So it's
Subspecies
Iris,
Wives Club.
Circe, I don't know. They're just talking about like,
Michelle's technically still alive in this universe.
or Becky. Like, I told my sister, but she wouldn't listen.
It'll be great. Anyway.
King Vladislas's first wife, second wife, third wife. So now Sophie looks bad.
Yeah.
So she's been fed on 4 or 5 times at this point. There's no way that she has enough blood left.
Yeah.
Ash enters the room and Sophie tries to chop his head off, but she can't. She's so weak.
Yeah.
And Ash tells her, it's the time for you to taste the blood of your master. Embrace me willingly, and I won't break the part of you that the music comes from.
He probably learned that that's a thing that you could do.
What part does the music get stored in? The left ear.
Yeah, that one. The brain? I don't know.
But we saw in the 5th one that he was like a musician, but then that part of him broke, I guess, and he could never play again.
Well, Radu didn't really
But
care about
why?
music, so
Anyhow.
he probably won't put her in a dungeon for 100 years and starve her. Maybe that's how you lose the music, Lena.
So he says, I won't break the part of you that the music comes from. I wrote, she keeps playing hard to get. So he frees from her again. Zach is meditating. I don't know. He's like just sitting there quietly.
Yeah.
And he's remembering his Rebecca, who was turned, and he killed her. So he had to kill his own girlfriend. So you know he's got some baggage.
Yeah.
A lot of baggage there.
He's got to get over it, buddy. It was like 200 years ago.
Zach is a tortured vampire.
Yeah.
Right? Just how we like him.
Yes.
I can fix him.
How do some of the tortured vampires become monsters and the other ones are like, I'm still sad?
I don't know. Iris comes into Zach's room and she's like, I'll show you Ash's lair if you promise not to betray my confidence. If you take Sophia, you leave the country and kill Ash.
Yeah.
Because Iris is done.
Yes. And he's like, sounds good to me.
I hope she has paperwork that says if Ash goes missing, she gets the club. I'm just saying.
She has to call Radu.
Sticky situation.
She has
Because
to
they
call
just killed the lawyer.
Yeah.
She has to call Radu.
Yeah. Hey, Radu.
Awkward question. What happens if your fledgling goes missing?
Yeah, he's dead. Although if this is after 4, she's just like, well, I guess it is up to me. I don't think anyone else. She has to call Michelle. That's technically the last of the bloodline.
Is
Like,
the next in line.
hey, Michelle, do you want to come back to Booker? Hello, Michelle?
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 Hello?
Just hangs up.
Hello? Can you hear me? Ash tells Sophia that she is about to die and she needs to choose. She chooses to take Ash as her master and obey him for eternity. He cuts his wrist. She drinks his blood. So classic embrace. Just the way I like it. I like a classic embrace. He says, "You're mine now." I can't think of like a situation where that's romantic.
You're mine now.
Like, how do you say that in a, like, it just doesn't feel sweet.
I don't know. These vampires really need to learn consent. I feel like they were never taught this.
Hashtag cancel vampires.
Hashtag cancel vampires. I think we should. I think we should.
It's like, in what situation would a guy look at me and say, "You're mine now"? And I was like, okay.
Yeah. Feels like property at that point.
Yes.
I'm sure some girls are into it. Not my bag.
Yeah.
Not my bag.
And after he says that, it hits her.
Yeah.
What she's done. And
She's
she
like,
does
"Oh,
start to kind of
shit."
fall apart. And he's like,
She's like, oh no, I'm a Dracula.
he's
Ah.
basically like, get it out, girl. Get it out. You got forever. It's going to be fine. Zach is out of his room because Iris let him out. He rips Dimitri's head off with his bare hands.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That was cool.
But also, is that Dr. Blood's twin?
We don't know. I think they're just reusing actors. I don't think they're.
Fine by me.
I don't think they're related.
Dimitri was a problem. It's fine. Then he
Dr.
goes,
Blood never went, my brother Dimitri. Real piece
my
of shit.
twin. Loose end. We should have made a list of loose ends. We really should have been tracking it this whole time. We need a secretary. Like, we need an assistant. We get the best ideas while we're talking, and then we need someone to write this stuff down.
I would love to work on this series and do a spin-off of the series.
Ted Nicolau, listen. Let me write the next one.
Look, I'll never be able to get to do a Carnosaur movie, but I think I can knock a subspecies out.
I
the
will
park.
do it for free, and I promise you it will be good.
Yeah. I will animate the subspecies myself. I'm not an animator. They won't look good, but I will do it. I will do it.
I have so many ideas for this. Okay. Anywho, rips Dimitri's head off with his bare hands. He goes into Ash's room and realizes it's too late. But Ash is distracted, so it's a good time to kill him because he's focused on the girl. Zach grabs the blade and swings, but Ash turns and he gets it in the forearm.
Yeah.
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 Brutal.
That was cool.
He runs out with Sophia and mesmerizes Cassandra to retreat. Ash comes out and tells Cassandra to fly after them since Ash is, I guess now that he's wounded, he can't fly.
Yeah.
So he tells her, fly and scream and I'll follow you.
Okay.
Not like the greatest, but in the moment.
He can't fly without his hand?
That's what it said. Now that I'm wounded, I can't fly.
Huh.
So you have to fly for me.
Okay.
Maybe because that blade is something special. Like it's a hunter blade.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right.
Zach and Sophia are trying to find a way out. And this is where they're getting like kind of lower into the city under the city, which I love the idea of a city under a city.
It's pretty cool.
I do love that idea. So Cassandra's following them and then like screaming for Ash, and Ash is following her. Ash is screaming into the tunnels that he will let Zach go free if he sacrifices Sophie, but Zach is a good guy, so he's not going to do that.
Good.
They find a way up and they're in the theater on the stage where she first played. So we see now where that great comes up that he was watching her from. Cassandra shows up and she grabs Sophia. Ash arrives with the blade, tosses it to Cassandra, telling her to kill Zach. He's fighting with a music stand, like a big metal music stand, and manages to knock her down and stake her. Ash throws Sophia to the ground and runs like the little bitch that he is. But the sun is up. So as he gets out into the lobby...
This is so funny.
It distracts him.
Yeah.
Zach swings the blade. Ash moves to dodge it, which throws him over the balcony into the lobby, like Die Hard style.
Like...
Hans Gruber. Yeah. And then Ash turns to Ash. I made a joke.
It's so sad.
So he hits the ground. And then
so
immediate
dumb.
ash. So there's no fire turning into ash like we've seen in the previous ones. There's no like... He
turns to fire really quick, whereas Michelle was constantly in the sunlight and just did this a little bit. Yeah.
That thing.
I hated that. Is that a thing like if you're older, you'll burn up faster? That was like a true
But that
blood.
doesn't make sense because Radu was out in the sun.
Well, Radu
He
is
was trapped
also a witch immortal.
A witch immortal vampire.
Yes.
Hybrid.
Radu is a special thing. We're going to put that aside
But
here.
he literally hits the ground.
Yeah.
Turns to ash.
Remember in True Blood, like the older you were, the more you would, like the faster you
more
would light
combustible.
up. Yeah.
Which
is the opposite in the Interview with the Vampire, where the older you are, you can make
More
it a little bit.
susceptible.
Yeah. All the ones related to you underneath will die.
So that's how I like it to be. The older the vampire, the stronger the power, the harder you are to kill. That's how I always like it to go. Like I hated in Twilight that the fledglings were stronger than the older vampires. That never made any sense to me at all. But anywho, Zach and Sophia find refuge in the theater basement, a.k.a. Michelle.
Yeah.
And Zach tells her basically like, well, we're doomed.
Why? What's going to happen to me?
Only one thing is for certain. Never again will you feel the warmth of the sun. I had stolen her from Ash's lair. I could offer her protection, teach her to survive. But I was not her true master. Her life, like mine, would be an endless nightmare.
And then they fall asleep.
And then it just ends.
That's it.
This felt like a pilot to a TV show. Because it has like a non-end, like they kill Ash really, but felt like they want to maybe do more movies, but it felt like this could have just been a TV show.
So really. I feel like what they thought was the next one will be Zachary and Sophia and him teaching her about being a vampire, and maybe they'll come across other enemies. Or
will they fight Radu?
Yeah. So then the problem with the continuity is now it's 4.
Yeah.
Ash is alive. He has the sword. Radu comes to him and says, I'm going to take all my shit back.
Yeah.
So I'm like, where is this in the timeline?
I guess Ash maybe wasn't fully dead. Maybe he like regrew because he wasn't stabbed or anything. I don't know.
Like if he were dismembered, I could imagine all the pieces coming back together, but he's a pile of dust.
Yeah. Something must have brought him back. Maybe someone cut their finger and put it over the dust.
Again, I don't think they expected 2 people to sit down and break this whole thing apart and say, wait a second. So after
poor Ted Nicolaus watching this and go, no, I failed.
I've lost Tony and Lena. So Tony, I told you about this one, and then I told you like watch it in this order.
Yes.
So what was your experience? Because I had seen this many times before. I saw it when it came out. I saw it when it came out, but I was not knowledgeable enough at that point to piece it all together. I was just like there for the ride, and I was into the sexy vampire, the sensual vampire. So I'm a big fan of the sensual vampire. I love vampire rivalries and drama and all that, hierarchies and all that stuff. But when I first experienced it, it was just like another subspecies, and I was excited, right? New characters. Now to go back and revisit it, it was a different feeling.
Yeah, for me, again, this is my first time watching it. I feel like if you trimmed down some of the violence, trimmed out some of the boobs, kept Ash alive, this would have been a good pilot. But it's not something I would have watched. You see better versions of this.
Would. If there was a Subspecies TV show, you would have 100%.
No, Subspecies, not this.
Okay.
Unless Radu was in it every season.
They would do that just to keep the viewers.
then maybe I would. But yeah, this is just poor man's Interview with the Vampire.
Correct.
Not as good. Ash is not that interesting of a villain. What's his face? Zachary. Not that interesting of a good
Fell
guy.
flat. Yeah.
I don't really care about Sophia. Why everyone's obsessed with her. Yeah, it's just kind of bland. If anything, I liked the lady who was trying to take over the place.
Iris.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather watch a show about like a familiar, I guess you could call them, dealing with a vampire who doesn't know what they're doing, which we have. It's called What We Do in the Shadows.
Correct.
But yeah, I don't think I'm going to be really revisiting this one anytime soon. But it's whatever. It's whatever. It's of its time.
At least now we got the answer of who are these people in for. Mm-hmm. So at least now we know where they came from.
Which honestly, you just read the Wikipedia and you don't have to watch the movie.
Correct.
I'm glad I watched the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't really stand out to me at all.
No.
And no subspecies were.
Because these are a different
I know.
type of vampire, I guess.
I just
Even though
feel
he's made from Radu.
It's like we have all these powers. Oh, but I do know a guy whose blood can turn into little demons. He does it sometimes.
I just imagine Ash called his maker and was like, how do I get chicks to like me? And Radu was like, you tell them to submit or you will torture them. And he's like, that sounds
That's
right.
perfect. That's perfect. Radu, are you seeing anyone? No. Oh, wait.
Oh, and
hold
also
on.
remember when my sister died because of you?
That wasn't written at the time.
So many people in this universe have daddy issues, mommy issues. Like, yes.
What's the point of being a vampire? It seems like the same shit, except you can't go outside during the day.
I know. Have you seen that thing? Somebody posted like, how come all the vampires are millionaires? And someone wrote, if you've been alive 200 years and you're not a millionaire, just step out into the sun. Like, what are you doing wrong? Well, Tony, I was so excited to do this with you. Make sure that you go to Tony's channel and watch our What's the Worst Subspecies after you've watched me dissect all of them and hear our thoughts on that. We're going to open our subspecies cards.
Yes.
And I think we're going to watch the other spinoff.
Ooh, it's going to be good.
My gut tells me the other spinoff is the worst of the bunch.
What if it's secretly the best?
We will let you know.
It got a sequel. We learned. Vampire Journals, no sequel.
Yeah, so when I ordered these cards, the guy said, oh, there's 8 movies. And I'm like, 8? I only count 7.
Yeah.
But that's because the one we're about to watch apparently has
a sequel.
So he was right.
But yeah, we're going to open these on Patreon.
Yes.
It's going to be a fun time.
Perfect. So this is a great segue. So where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Hack the Movies on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. I also... When I go live, I also go to Twitch, Instagram, all that fun stuff. And I have a Patreon or YouTube channel membership, but that's only for the $2 tier. But Patreon, you get commentary tracks, bunch of stuff, and occasionally some fun little vlog stuff like these. We're going to open these bad boys and see what's in there.
That have been sealed since the 90s.
1991. But I forgot Paramount Pictures released the first few. And then I guess after 3, they're like, we're done.
Wash their
but
hands
yes,
clean.
That's where you can find me. Hack the
Perfect.
Movies.
And if you haven't seen it, Tony and I have done on his channel Lost Boys.
And the Batman versus Dracula.
The Batman versus Dracula. The 1979 Nosferatu.
Well, that was on Patreon. That was on yours.
That was on my channel. But then on yours, we did Vampire in Venice, the sequel.
Yes.
On Patreon.
Sequel. Put a million quotes around that.
We have so much fun. Well, thank you for luring me back to the video store. I love being here.
Yeah.
All right, guys, go check it out. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to have to make my way back to my lair now before the sun comes up.
Oh, yeah. You might want to head out quick.
I mean, it's Pennsylvania. The sun's never coming out. I haven't seen the sun in 2 weeks.
That's true. I see it for an hour a day, maybe, and then a cloud comes and goes, bye.
Is that even the sun, or is that just a helicopter with a spotlight? I don't know. All right, guys. Thank you. Bye.